If you need edge banding capabilities, the Laguna Bandit 3.2 Edgebander is a compact industrial machine with a small footprint, and it's super easy to use. So in this video we'll take a little bit of a look at the machine and how to use it. So as we go to the front control panel here, you'll see a temperature setting. That's going to be our final glue setting, and then the actual temperature of where that glue is at the moment. On the front panel we'll also have the tape feed power button, and then we'll have a right and left rough trim button to activate that. And then there's also a heated fence, so we'll turn that heated fence on. And then this button down here will activate our right and left final trim. And this one here is the thickness trim. And then we also have a buffing station. As well, there's the conveyor button that will turn the conveyor belt on. And as with all machines, it has your usual emergency stop if needed. And the first thing we want to do is make sure we close that conveyor head and secure that head before we use the conveyor belt. Now in this test we're using 195 degrees for our heating the glue pot. And various glues might have different temperatures, so check that. And then the glue pot is also heated to temperature. It'll vary plus or minus a few degrees while we operate the machine. So the first step is to place tape on the table and just sort of feed it through that guide, and then we'll tighten down the upper guide screws. Next, we'll push the tape into the rollers, just a little bit past into that slot there. And then we'll release the pressure on these rollers by this little handle and just push it through past the guillotine head just a little bit. So we'll push that tape just a little bit past the blade, and then we'll relock that mechanism. So now we'll measure the material. Ours is about 19.5 millimeters. So we'll go with 19.5, and we'll set that tape thickness to 19.5 millimeters. So there's a good view of that crank wheel. That'll show you it's at 19.5. Now down here, these are air pressure controls, and they're normally factory set. So you really don't have to do much to these, and you want to make sure you read the manual fully before making any adjustments there. So when the machine is idle, the glue pot heater will automatically lower the temperature. So now to reactivate and start that temperature to heating back up, we'll go ahead and start up all the stations on the machine, and then the glue pot will slowly come to temp. We've sped this footage up a little bit just to show you the rise in temperature there. So once it reaches its final temperature, it's pretty much ready to go. So we'll go ahead and take a board and press it against that heated fence, and the conveyor is on. And we've also slowed this footage down about 50% so you can see the movement of that trim motor as it trims the front and the from the right and the left trim, and then it goes through the shaper trim on the top. So there it is, one side is done, and then you can take a look and just sort of feed that board back through the machine a number of times. And here's a real slow motion of showing it cutting that first lead edge, and then the thickness trimmer comes in and will trim the top and the bottom thickness, and as it works its way through the machine, it'll do the final end trim. The Bandit 3.2 can be used with all kinds of materials, with a minimum thickness of 1.5 inch to a maximum of 1 3/4 inch stock. So for more information, feel free to give us a call or check our website at lagunatools.com.